Hello, everybody out there.
Welcome to our Penfolds virtual live tasting. We have two amazing wines tonight that we're super excited for.
Yes, we've been looking forward to this for a couple of months and trying to do some things a little bit different. We've got some fun stuff going on with these two wines. And if you only got one of the wines, that's okay. But we're doing Penfolds 600 and Penfolds 389. One of them from Australia and the other one is from California. Both made by Penfolds.
Right. And the California, this is their premier project from California. So we're pretty excited to try that. First time they've ever done a California project. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Christine. This is Justin. We're the owners of the Bottle Room.
Of the Bottle Room, yes. We should have probably put that up there and let you know.
Yeah. And we're joined today by a special guest, which we're excited to bring on as well, Tracy. Yeah. She is the fine wine specialist for Breakthru Beverage.
Yeah, and we're going to bring her on right now, and we're going to talk a little bit about what she knows, and then we're going to have this really cool video, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hi, everybody. So excited to be here. Hi, Justine. Hi, Christine.
Hey, how's it going?
I love it. She just called us Justine.
I just married your names together.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's what we get for a live show. So welcome, everybody, to our Penfolds tasting. I am the fine wine specialist at Breakthru Beverage. My passion is wine, and I have two great friends here who I've done events with. We've had a lot of fun. And I'm really excited to be tasting out the Penfolds today. I already have my glasses poured. So when we get ready to taste, we're going to go for it. I want to just tell a little quick story about Penfolds. If you can even believe it, it is 178 years old. They started in 1844 with Dr. Penfolds and his wife, Mary, and their daughter. And they moved from England to Australia and down into the South Australia. So especially in like Adelaide, they like to say, a lot of people say Barossa, but it's actually Barossa, which I'm not really good at speaking like the accent of Australia. But Barossa in that South Australia area is kind of known as like the Napa Valley of Australia. Yeah, it's where some of the best vines are grown, right, you guys? It's like incredible vines. And the legacy and the history of this winery is amazing. And Justin, why don't we go ahead and see the video? We have a short, well, not a short video, but a video that is truly inspiring.
I wanted to add, Tracy, before we get into that, is we're on a new video streaming platform. So our internet should be good, but if for whatever reason it starts lagging, stay with us because we will come back.
It will catch up.
It will catch up.
So here we're gonna get this video going for you and learn a little bit about Penfolds.
Enjoy.
Gives me chills every time I watch it.
Me too. Absolutely. I think it's so amazing that since 1844 they've been doing this and being on the cutting edge of winemaking right from the get-go. And a lot had to do with Dr. Penfold's wife, Mary, because she started out making elixirs and then they went into fortified wines. And from there, they branched out into wine and actually controlling the whole Australian market for many, many years.
Yeah, and Nancy, one great fun fact that I read about the founders was they were actually into medicine. And so they had got into wine as a medicinal purpose to try and find a cure for anemia.
I think we should try some of the medicine.
Oh, let's get some medicine. Let's get some medicine in us. It's time.
I so agree because I have my bottles here.
Me too. So let's show everybody what we have. We have the Penfolds Bin 389. Yeah. And we also have Penfolds Bin 600. And the fun fact, and the reason we're doing this tasting is because these wines are both a blend of Cab and Shiraz. Cab and Shiraz from Australia with our Bin 389. Cab and Shiraz from California with our Bin 600. So we're tasting the same wine blend. They're a bit off in terms of the percentage. Yep. But still, how fun is that to explore these two different wines, essentially the same varietal blend? So we're going to try, we're going to do them both together, but let's pour out the 389.
We're going to start with the 389. We'll do a little taste on that. Then we can move over to the 600, taste a little bit of that, and then go back and forth. And in the interim, we can, if there's anybody who has any questions, and we're going to show you some really cool pictures of the winery and maybe some more fun facts.
Absolutely.
So pour out your wine. Let's
get
some wine in those glasses.
Make sure you give it a good swirl so you get all the aromas going on in the 389. I won't say yet which is my favorite, but I do have a favorite. And I do find it helpful when we're tasting wine. I do like to nose at the bottom of the glass, but I always like to nose also at the top of the glass. Sometimes I'll get some different flavors, some more secondary flavors at the top of the glass. But so this is our Penfolds Bin 389, and it is very well known as Baby Grange. And the fun fact to that is that it got that nickname because they use second-year barrels from American oak from Grange. So Grange gets the new barrels,
Gotcha.
Baby Grange gets the second year barrels.
So they get the barrel that actually Grange was in.
Correct. And I've always felt that American barrels, bigger grained, a little bit more porous, and I feel that they have adds a more spicy quality to wine, which I feel adds to that Shiraz, because Shiraz has got some spice to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what are we smelling? What do we smell on this Baby Grange?
So go ahead, Christine.
I was just saying, I get a lot of spice off of this, coming from the Shiraz, obviously, but like clove and those deep, dark berry fruits. But I love the spice that Shiraz is bringing in here for me.
Definitely a deeper, darker berry note, concentrated fruit quality.
And this one is 43% Shiraz. So, but big and powerful. And it also the Shiraz comes from their McGill Vineyard, which is the original vineyard at Penfolds. It's right next to the winery, right near their restaurant that they have there that someday I hope to go visit.
Yeah, let's show a picture of that. Right? So here's a picture of the winery, and that Tracy is I believe the restaurant is that big glass building we see in the far right there, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and it looks like it's food.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was looking at some of the menu items on there. It looks like it's top notch. Like they're serving.
And I'm trying to remember the exact date of the winery. Did you catch that at all, Christine? I don't know why I don't have it when they built it, but it was soon after that they were there when they built the winery.
Gotcha.
And here is one of the original vineyard shots from the original winery, which
or
is
just
cool
black and white.
Or just black and white, yeah.
So, Baby Grange Bin 389 is this vintage we're tasting 2 2018 vintages, correct? If someone has both, they have both 2018.
Correct.
Yep.
And for Bin 389, this is the 58th year. So when they just released the 2020, it was the 60th year. But right now we're trying the 2018. And older, I feel, is always a little bit better in these powerful red wines. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if you can lay them down or not drink them right away, you'll get an even better quality taste when they've been around a little bit longer.
And the 389 was originally developed by Penfolds to attract a more, a red wine loving client base. They decided to take, that boldness and the fruit of the Cab and combine that with the spiciness of Shiraz in order to create this Bin 389. And obviously that's now carrying through to their California project in the Bin 600, which we're going to try in a little bit as well.
Yeah. Right. What do we think of the taste of this?
I think it's I can really taste that dusty tannin in this wine, which obviously if you were someone who likes to cook dinner, a great, bone and ribeye would go great with this. A beautiful, even a duck breast would go really great with this because a lot of times you'll do duck and cherries, and that goes great with Shiraz. So, but this has got some tannins onto it. So it needs a little fat in whatever you're cooking.
Definitely. Sure. It's got a great weight to it though. I love this. I mean, like right off the bat, it kind of sits right on your mid palate and it holds on for a while. And it's very, very well structured.
And those tannins, I know everyone always talks about tannins. What are they? How do we feel them? What are they from?
So tannins come from three places in the grape world. It comes from the skins. The most prominent place is the skins on the grape. It can also come from the seeds, and it also can come from the stems. And a lot of times people say, I feel this is very round tannins. I don't taste any bitterness in this at all. And I think that's because they get rid of the stems. And you're not getting that stemmy quality in this wine at all. It's very elegant, very elegant.
Cool. I see we've got Chris Keel coming in from, I believe, Mexico, because we happen to know him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
So cool.
Which is pretty
cool. And they said they love the peppery notes, so that's pretty sweet.
I do too, Chris. I'm a big fan of the peppery notes in this wine. I think they go, as Tracy mentioned too, not only do you have that heavy tannin structure, but also that peppery quality that it just makes me longing for a steak right now.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, when you said clove, I got that right away, that spicy baking notes to it.
Mhm.
You know, even a beef stew would be great with this wine. You know,
Mhm.
and I'm always about cooking and drinking wine, so it's a lot fun for me to enjoy the two together.
Absolutely.
So should we contrast a little bit?
We
or-
should. Let's just chat a little bit about Bin 600 and why Penfolds kind of migrated over to California, because I think that's a really interesting story.
You know
We
what
have
you know what I was thinking? I had this thought today. It was kind of interesting. I thought this is the perfect immigrant wine because it literally comes from Australia and it came over here as vines that they took from those vineyard sites in Australia. They brought them over here and they planted them in California.
They did.
And-
So why is it that this iconic winery from Australia is bringing their vines over to California to plant them here? And I think that's a fun story in itself. You know, they were on the hunt for cab. Where does amazing cab come from? Because South Australia, I mean, while they can grow cab, it's probably not the best, most premier spot to be growing Cabernet Sauvignon. And I think all of us, you know, wine lovers know great cab comes from Napa Valley. So
Bordeaux.
Or Bordeaux.
Or
so
Bordeaux.
They decided, you know, why not expand the horizons? And they're going to go to where the best places to source Cabernet Sauvignon, which led them to California. And now they have this whole new project. And Tracy, talk a little bit about too, as we get into this. This is the first vintage year of the California project. How long have they been working on this? Because I think this is interesting.
This is very interesting. So they have been working on this project actually since 1998, when they first started to scout out vineyards in not only in California and all sorts of areas, so Napa, Sonoma, but they went and they decided to be on the cutting edge and go down to Paso.
Mhm.
So Paso Robles, okay? So down south from where our traditional Napa and Sonoma are. And they found a great vineyard in Paso. And right now, currently Paso, I think, has like 11 AVAs approximately. But this one is called, I'm always wanting to add an S to it, but Camada Hills.
And we have a picture of that vineyard site. I'm just going to pop it up here. This is the vineyard site. This is where they brought the Shiraz from Australia and planted it here.
Yep.
And Christine and Justin, they brought it's actually the Shiraz from the McGill Vineyard right by the winery. And some of those vines, I was looking at some of those pictures, they're literally this far around. I mean, they're huge and they're old and they're gnarly. They look incredibly just amazing just to see how it's like almost like a tree trunk. And so they grafted those off and brought them to Australia, and they had to do all sorts of had to follow all sorts of rules and regs because, of course, the U.S. was, you know, customs was not wanting them to bring in things that they shouldn't be. So everything had to be tested before it was allowed to come in to California to be planted. So that vineyard down in Paso is their Shiraz that they brought right from the birthplace of Penfolds, which to me
the McGill estate.
Is really amazing.
That is cool. And an homage to this, that site used to be called the Creston 600 Ranch.
Yes.
And which is like, I believe it's probably 600 acres, I'm guessing. I'm not
I think about, I think, I heard 500 to 600 acres.
And so since it was called the Creston 600 Ranch, that's where they brought these first vines. That's their homage, or that's their starting point. So that's why this is called the Bin 600.
Correct. Now, for those of you who don't know, Penfolds is part of a greater company that also represents wineries such as Beaulieu Vineyard, or some people like to say BV, or Beringer, or Sterling, or Stag's Leap Wine Cellars. So some very prominent wineries in the Napa area. And because of that, and if you know this, of course, they're in the Southern Hemisphere. So when we're having harvest, they're in their, they're headed into spring and summer. So they're flip-flop from us. So when things are dormant in Australia, Penfolds winemakers would come over to America, come to California, and they joke about the fact that they had a hard time getting them to go back home to do the regular stuff. And actually, a couple of them have ended up staying in California and never went back. But they joke a lot about, like, oh, remember, you got to come home. You go there to work, but you're doing Penfolds, but then you got to come back to Australia.
Kind of a bad gig for those winemakers. They never get a break. It's like they're doing one harvest in Northern Hemisphere, one harvest in Southern, and they don't get that break period at all.
They don't.
What do we think about this?
I love that Tracy's here because she can talk and we can drink. This is fantastic.
I should go talking so I can.
I did start sipping on the 600. I love it. I think right off the bat for me, it's a lot smoother. That pepper note is a little bit toned down and the fruit is more expressive to me over the pepper flavor in this wine. It's not quite as dusty, it's quite as earthy. I think that, you know, the Shiraz coming from Warm Paso along with the California Cab, it's making that fruit pop a lot more for me.
So, I think it's a little bit of a lighter fruit too. I don't think it's as deep and as concentrated.
I'll tell you, every time I taste wine, I always taste something different. And tonight, this 600 tastes pretty powerful to me. Pretty powerful. And when it comes to other vineyards that are a part of this wine, they do 45% from Napa. And the wine comes from up on Diamond Mountain, which has a lot of volcanic and obsidian soil. So a lot of people say, and I have not been up there, I've been up on a lot of the mountains, but I've never been up to Diamond Mountain. But they say in the sun, you can see the ground sparkling from the obsidian and the volcanic soils. Then some of their sister companies have some great vineyards in Knights Valley in Sonoma. So 35 of it comes from Knights Valley. And for those of you who know any Knights Valley wines, they are also really powerful. They have it's a big cab coming out of Knights Valley. And then, of course, the last 20% is the Shiraz that comes out of Paso.
Yep.
And I think Paso is a really cool it's not really up and coming anymore, but a lot of people are getting to know Paso, and you shouldn't be afraid to try Cabernets from Paso, Shiraz from obviously Penfolds 600. But Paso has a lot of great things going on down there. I have yet to visit there.
Big bold reds. It was actually one of our first stops on our honeymoon 10 years ago when we first started looking for product for the bottle room.
That's what happens when you get married and open a business like 3 months later. No honeymoon. It's a honeymoon. We're looking for product.
But that's always fun to do.
Absolutely.
It is always
just
fun.
For our viewers, please feel free to weigh in. We'd love to see your comments and see what your minds. Which one do you like better? Any notes that you're pulling out of the 600 and any questions that you might have about Penfolds or either of these projects.
The winemaker had a really cool
I love this quote.
Let's see, the winemaker, who is this particular gentleman,
Peter,
a really cool quote here that talks about this particular wine.
Talking about the California project in general, there's California sun above and soil below.
I'm not sure if people can hear me, but hang in there.
Oh,
there you're back.
Absolutely.
So, Christine and Justin, just so people kind of understand that when you taste both of these wines, one of Penfolds, I would say mantras, how they benchmark themselves is they don't want a wine that's overly tannic. They don't want it to be overly oaked. They don't want it to be a fruit bomb. They want everything to integrate together. So one of their main focuses is to make sure all their wines are well balanced. And I think these are two examples of incredibly well-balanced wines. And I like them both for different reasons. And both wines are highly accredited, acclaimed, incredible ratings. The 693 Wine Enthusiast, 93 James Suckling, 90 points Robert Parker, 90 points Wine Spectator. Ben 389, 97 points James Suckling, 93 Parker, and 96 Decanter. So, I mean, obviously the experts, we're experts in enjoying and drinking and having fun with them and talking about them. But even people who are highly, critically acclaimed think these wines are amazing.
Yeah. And they are. They're great wines. Very well produced.
Yeah, both of them are really awesome.
I think it's incredibly cool. They had the vision to go to Paso over 20 years ago and put this together so that in 2018, they all went back there to vinify the wine, to turn it in, take the grapes, turn it into wine. And now we get to enjoy it today.
Exactly.
Cool. Adam just posted a fun little tip for everyone. They just posted their tasting notes on Vivino, and when you add your picture of the bottle, there's a video of the cellar and the vineyards that plays behind the picture of the wine you took. Very cool
That
feature.
is really cool.
Thanks for sharing, Adam. He's kind of like our little techie friend, so leave that to Adam to bring that one out. That's fun.
And we do need help sometimes with the techie side of things. Mm-hmm. We're good at drinking and tasting.
So I just went from the 600 back to the 389. I think I need more of both of them in my glasses, but I really appreciate the difference that both of these wines are displaying, especially being, again, same winemakers, same winemaking technique, same grapes, just from a different country, a different hemisphere.
Yep. And then that goes back to terroir, that sense of place where the wine is being grown. And, the different winemaking techniques that go into it and the type of climate and the weather that they get, it all plays into it.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that in Paso, that part of the reason that they felt that the Shiraz would grow really great there was that the vineyard where they had chosen had a lot of limestone down. Nothing really ever matters in the topsoil. It's all underneath that topsoil, down below that. But a lot of limestone that they felt that was going to grow great Shiraz. And I love the fact that Penfolds, they call their DNA is to be unbound by country, vine, or time.
That is
is really cool with what they're doing. They're so innovative.
And definitely they're proving that. I mean, the fact that they're now in California, they have champagne properties. They are
Bordeaux, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's see, Chris back at it. I'm a big fan of the 389. Love the earthy notes. Yeah, it is. I'm kind of. It's weird because I've always been kind of a California guy, and when it comes to some of these cabs and so forth, and it's just, I don't know. I'm almost leaning towards the 389 myself.
Tonight, are you? Here, give me a little bit more of that one. You got the bottle on your side of the table.
Well, all right, so I'll be honest. This is my 389. And this is my 600, so I must be really liking it.
Love it. So it's 389. Tracy, you're an old world fan, though.
Yes, I am.
Not that we're really talking old world here, but I feel like that earthy note is more your style.
So, it all goes back to Max Schubert, who was, he started out in the 1930s as their messenger boy and ended up being their main winemaker. And he was the gentleman who traveled to Bordeaux to learn about Bordeaux and the blending. In France, they call it the art of assemblage, but the Cab Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Bordeaux. And so he learned about blending, not to take that back totally to Australia, but he was the one who created Grange. Mm-hmm. And Grange it
was like a big
famous.
Project.
It is like one of the best ones.
Tracy, do you know this? How many times has Grange won number one wine of the year?
Honestly, I know that they won Winery of the Year 27 times. I think Grange won twice. I think for 100-point wines.
Which is pretty impressive for a single
Very
wine.
much. Grange is amazing if you get an opportunity to try it.
Mm-hmm.
I like this both from Aubrey. Both wines are great. But I do enjoy the smoothness of the 600, but it could be convinced that the 309 would be fantastic with lamb.
Ooh.
I totally could see that. I mean, because that little herbaceous notice, it's kind of
Mhm.
like you're putting a little, pepper on it, and there's just a lot of that that spiciness.
I totally think we should have had dinner before the tasting, but at least now we have a lot of great wine to drink with dinner.
I hope everybody either got to try one or, both. And if not, if you only bought one, go back and get another bottle.
Yeah,
and
we
try
still
the
have
other
these.
one.
We still have some at the
I
bottle
think
room
there's
too.
like 4 left of each. Maybe.
And we can obviously get more from Tracy.
Yeah.
Yes, you
So if
can.
anybody's viewing right now that wants to go back and revisit these wines and jump on and view this video again, it will be on our YouTube page forever.
For as long as
everything
they
on
hold
the
it.
internet's forever, right? So you can go pick up the wines and jump back on and taste along with us again.
Yeah.
I think 389 is very iconic. I think that they've gone into California is very iconic. So if you do look on the bin 600 label, it does say
I think Tracy froze up just a little bit.
She froze. I'm looking at the bin 600 label. Ooh, Aubrey got hers tonight. Nice. Okay. Well, Justin and I could keep going on with the tasting.
So we're back to just Christine and I here. We're going to probably, I think, finish up a little bit here. Maybe a few, see if there's any more questions out there.
Any questions or comments? Love the virtual tasting thing. We've been asked to do this again. We did it a lot during COVID, obviously. And so many of our guests have asked us to do the virtual tastings again. So we're on live with it now. We have one scheduled for July. We have one scheduled for December. So keep an eye out for those. And I think Tracy's back. Let's at least say bye to Tracy.
Yeah, we should say bye
back on. Hi, Tracy.
Bye, you guys. I had so much fun, and thank you for inviting me. It was an honor to be here.
Yeah,
we had a little internet freeze there for a moment with you, so
it's
okay.
We booted you off.
I apologize for that.
Well, everybody have a lovely evening, and I hope to see you again. This was my first live show, so it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, you guys, and enjoy your wine, everyone.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tracy.
Bye,
have
Tracy.
a great night.
All right. So anyways, if anybody has any more questions, we've got a few more minutes. Christine did mention that we have, we're going to try to do a few more of these virtual tastings.
We are.
And we'll also, as we're learning as we go here with some of this techie stuff. And we also have a tasting in the bottle room, the blending tasting, which is coming up February 9th.
Super excited for that. So we have Dry Creek Vineyards from Sonoma coming in for this tasting. They're bringing in one of their most iconic wines for Dry Creek is their
Mariner.
Their Mariner, which is a blend of 5 different Bordeaux varietals. So they're bringing in the 5 base wines that make up the Mariner blend. And we are going to see if our guests can blend, who can blend the closest to that Mariner blend. So really excited for that. We do have a few seats left for that tasting on February 9th. If anyone's interested in attending that tasting, signups can happen on the Bottle Room's website. We're still live right there. And oh, good. Aubrey, I just love that you love the virtual tastings. I'm glad that you enjoy those, and we will continue those. So again, keep an eye out. July and December for sure. We may sneak in a few more. And now that we have all this fancy equipment that Justin had to buy.
Well, not super fancy, but enough to make it a little more interesting. I think it's a lot of fun, and we'll get a little bit better as we move along.
Yeah,
we really want to bring some of our knowledge and our experiences and our fun in this world of wine and culinary to everybody out there. And I think that this helps provide that.
It does. So keep an eye out for pop-up tasting is where I was going with that, because we drink a lot of wine every night. So we figured why not go on and share it with our guests. And if anyone likes them, they could swing into the bottle room, pick up the bottles, and then try them along with us at their leisure.
Yeah. we plan on doing a lot more of this stuff along the way. So if anybody else wants to ask any questions after the fact, we'll definitely continue to look at some of the comments, and we can chat back and forth a little bit. And but otherwise, we're going to let everybody go. I hope you enjoyed the tasting and learned a little bit here or there about these two different wines coming from Penfolds, one being from Australia and the other one from California.
Yeah, and a great iconic winery.
So thank you very much for joining us, and until next time.
Cheers. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.